Wasted in Wisconsin. It is a provocative new series the Journal Sentinel is featuring right now. It focuses on the drinking culture here in Wisconsin and some of its deadly consequences.
JS on air now. We're joined by Marty Kaiser, editor of the Journal Sentinel. And you know, this is, I was telling you just now, Marty, that I just finished reading part 1, and you've wanted to do this for a long time. You're very, very passionate about this topic, and unfortunately, stories like the ones you talk about and are going to be featured in these series, we're hearing about them in the news. The latest, of course, being Jennifer Bukowski, her daughter, unborn child, killed in an accident by a alleged drug driver at that point who had previous arrests in the past and previous convictions in the past. We keep hearing about these stories, and it's heartbreaking. And then to read this, #1 binge drinking. Percentage of drinkers in the population, Wisconsin is #1. Driving under the influence, we're #1. These are not good categories to be #1 in.
I think it's all become part of the culture of the state. It's a series that so many of us in the newsroom have been wanting to do for years. And some of our journalists started working on this about a year ago, just digging into the databases and looking at the numbers and looking how drinking is just so much a part of the culture of our state. And that doesn't mean that we're going to campaign to stop drinking, but more people get out on the road and have had too much to drink than any other state in the country.
You talk about the cultural role here. To what extent is the legal community also to blame for this problem?
I think that's a part of it, and that's when we first looked at it. You start looking at some of these figures and these numbers. We are the only state in the country where the first time that you get stopped for a drunken driving offense, it's not a crime. It's you get a ticket. That's all it is, which immediately sort of sets a tone of the way things are going to be handled. It takes 5 times for you to get arrested for drunken driving to be a felony in the state.
And what kind of message is that sending to everybody who's out there? I mean, obviously not a positive one.
It does. That's the kind of thing it does. And we've spent a lot of time on this. We really want to make a difference and make our roads safer. 23% of the traffic accidents from alcohol related happen within the last hour after bars close in the state. We are tomorrow going to be looking at the taxpayer dollars, $2.7 billion in taxpayer money wasted in insurance, taxpayer money. The next day we're going to look at the power of the Tavern League and how they are controlling an awful lot of what happens in the bills that are passed in the state legislature. And then on Thursday, the 5th part of it, we've taken a look at US 41, the road that goes right from the Upper Peninsula down to Illinois, through every different part of our state, the central city, through the farmlands, and 37 people died in traffic accidents on US 41 last year related to alcohol. And then the other key part of this series for us is trying to put a human face on us, because we looked at this database and we found that there were 1,600 people who have died in alcohol-related crashes since 2003. But there were not names behind them. So how do we put faces behind those and put real stories? So for 72 straight days, we're going to have a story on one person from each county in the state. Tomorrow, you're going to read about a 19-year-old girl who was accidentally killed by her drunk boyfriend in Barron County. Alphabetically, one story like that. To try and bring some attention so that when the legislature comes into session in January, we think that some bills will go forward to try and make some differences and make our roads safer, our state a better place to live.
Marty Kaiser, it sounds like a righteous cause.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And we'll look forward to those articles this week.
In fact, you can read more about Wasted in Wisconsin. That's what the series is called, online, jsonline.com. We also have a link from our website, today's tmj4.com, and we urge you really to read those articles and the stories that Marty's talking about, because it really is just a fascinating, fascinating story and fascinating read.